Hi guys, you are on Module 7. You're almost done. Okay, so in the discussion section, you're describing a correlational study. So first you're reading your chapters, describing a correlational study. And remember, a correlation is when you have variables but you're not manipulating them. You're not randomly assigning people to groups. We're still interested in these variables, and this can frequently be a study design that we use because it's not ethical to randomly assign people to groups. So, in other words, what if you have like a group of, like, what if you're interested in if somebody's rich or poor and how much money they're making based on if they're like what their gender is? We can't randomly assign people to like different jobs. We can just look at their job income. We can't randomly assign people to different genders. We can just look at their genders. So correlational studies are used often because there's an ethical reason why you can't do it. Or they might just be used for other reasons, but definitely if there's an ethical reason why you can't randomly assign people to groups. And then say if you have nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio data. Remember that, this is already discussed in your book, but nominal means it's just different by name, like what state do you live in. Ordinal would be as if it's different in some way, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? But the difference between somebody's number 3 and somebody's number 4 isn't like it's better or worse, but it's not a particular number of better or worse. And then interval or ratio would be like time or temperature, like something that has a specific amount in between it. And then the difference between these is that interval, this is like temperature really, where a 0 doesn't really mean anything. It's just a 0 temperature, but that doesn't mean there's no temperature. And then ratio is like a 0 does mean something, where it's like how many drops of water. A 0 really does mean something. And then in your book, it's talking about what you're comparing, individual percentages, group percentages, or group means. And then in the book, it's talking about correlations. Are you expecting this to be a strong or weak relationship? Would it be positive or negative? Meaning, what direction would it be? Does income increase or decrease as the person, gets older, say? All right. And then the other assignment this week is Module 7. You're doing your results section for the survey questions from the discussion in Module 4. And you didn't actually run this study, so we're just leaving this as numbers. So here, using this template, we're scrolling down to the results section. And this is telling you overall things that you need to do, like just say that you'll be using SPSS version. If you have SPSS, you can look at the version, otherwise leave it as version X. Just say you're going to use an alpha level of 0.05 for all analyses. Say if your test will be one-tailed or two-tailed. So two-tailed is if you're not sure how your groups are going to differ, like say you use like red or blue and you don't know how paint color might impact people's happiness, then it would just be two-tailed. But if you did something where you think like, oh, I did this treatment, I think it's going to make this other group better, then it would be a one-tailed. And then it would say something like, because I predict that the after treatment group would do better than the before treatment group, all tests will be one-tailed. And then you can just leave this in here. Like just say, I'll first determine if the parameters of the tests are violated and make any corrections as needed. Some of you guys have taken stats and some of you guys haven't, so you can just keep that pretty simple. And then for this, just make this your first variable. I find these websites to be so helpful. Like, first, remember that we already discussed in discussion 4, you already told me what kind of a test you think this is going to be. Was it, wait, it's not the discussion in Module 4. It's the assignment in Module 4. Hold on. Module 4 assignment. And so you already said, what type of design is this? What test would be used? So you already have this information. So you know exactly what test would be used because I gave you that feedback. So let's just say, like, here's the website that's helpful. And let's just say that we already know that this is like a correlation. It says, how do I report a correlation? So you would literally say this, like just copy and paste this. A Pearson product moment correlation was computed to assess the relationship between variable 1 and variable 2. That's it. And you are not filling in these blanks. I mean, you are saying a Pearson product moment correlation, but and then you're saying what your variables are. Like if it was variable 1, like happiness and income or something like that. So just fill in these, but the blanks can just be blank, and see how it says like this, these blanks are the blanks that can just be blanks. Like you do have to fill in variable 1 and variable 2, but these blanks can just remain blank because you didn't actually do that test. Yeah, that's it. Like if you look, that's really it. And then I gave that example. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions. Have a good week.